and welcome to the AniGains podcast. We are here with Mr. Cam's Fitness and Qais Butt. How are we doing, boys?
I'm doing very well. I'm sunburnt to shit. I had to do a walk and I went proper out of breath because I had to do cardio and then I had 16 square bars.
I'm back.
What is that accent?
It was Noah, but I suddenly went a little bit I don't know.
You went like South African or something.
Yeah. South African Noah at the end.
Yeah.
But no, I'm alright. Yeah, fuck man, that's really throwing me off.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm sound. I'm deloading at the minute. Fucking. I got all my big lifts last week. I like to basically send things before I deload. So anytime I know that I'm gonna have, say, a period off training, whether I'm going on holiday or whether I actually just need to pull back for a bit, I will always try and ruin myself effectively. So we got every single lift that we needed to. We surpassed 3 plates on the incline Smith. I pulled 260 for 5 RDL. Bent over row at 4 plates. Some other fucking cool pressing, pulling work got done. Yeah, it was a good week. Went to the Team R Fit meetup.
Oh shit, yeah. How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. I got there kind of late, and then I was forced to participate in the bench press challenge. But I don't worry, AniGains fans, we did clutch up and we won it. So I got a tub of vanilla Hydroflow, cola Hydroflow, which you think would taste like dog shit, but it actually doesn't. So yeah, that fat nubs this week. Lower back is cooked. I'm gonna go get some blood work tomorrow. So I'll send you boys a panel of that, and depending on it, we might be doing a live reaction to the pod, unless it's really bad, and then in which case I'm probably going to be radio silent for a little while.
Yeah, he'll be dead.
Yeah, I'll have fucking died.
Yeah.
Kidneys absolutely destroyed. My liver, surprisingly, the first time I did blood work, when I was 22, my liver was cooked. I don't know why. Because I've never really drank heavily, but yeah, for some reason it was just fucked. So hopefully that's a bit better now. But yeah, potentially might have the worst blood work on the AniGains. We should do that next week. Just go blood work for blood work.
Blood work off.
Yeah, and whoever has the least cooked blood work gets to be in charge of the Instagram because they'll get to be alive for longer. So yeah, Qais, how's everything with you, mate?
Yeah, mate, not too bad. I just, I went home for the weekend to celebrate my own birthday, funnily enough. So that was pretty cool. And then also went to the Two Bros MK Classic in Wigan. So that was a pretty interesting show. Two Bros is a bit of a different vibe at them shows than the PCA or WMBF. It's more serious, I would say, when you're at Two Bros. Because the people that go to them shows, they're normally there because they want to get a pro card. So they're a little bit more head down, and it's a little bit more of a serious vibe over there. But yeah, overall, not too bad. My training's not going great now. I feel like I have zero insulin sensitivity. My digestion's terrible, genuinely terrible. Yeah, my stools are painful at the minute, let's just say that. Literally painful. So, yeah, mate, diet soon come. Shredded. And yeah, mate. Yeah. Secret prep for 2025, sorry.
Hey,
and then we'll see.
On that note, do you use any sort of glucose dispersal agent?
Yes, I do.
Really? And it's still that bad?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not looking good, bruv. But yeah, so I suppose, do we want to do a little segue onto Two Bros?
Fuck yeah. Rather than talk about Qais poop. Let's
not. Wicked. Right, Two Bros then. Two Bros. So, in terms of, I showed up after the the cheaters had already competed, so don't want to look at them. So only watched the natural portion of the show.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't watch Fildo?
No,
That's the only
because
men's physique class I saw.
I couldn't make it by that time. I saw the videos and everything, and well, let's speak about Fildo actually to start off with. So Fildo won his class in men's physique. However, he didn't win the overall. Do you want to do a little screen share?
Noah, can you pull that up for us?
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Why-
basically,
You're hosting.
Fildo-
You're literally hosting.
Kez is
right,
definitely
let's just do it. So Fildo, for those who don't know, is a very, very good men's physique athlete. He's actually, I think he's related to Gerald, isn't he?
No.
Another friend, is he not?
No.
Isn't he his cousin?
No, they're both just Filipino.
Oh, the both just. Oh, that was just me being racist. Yeah, that was just me being racist.
No,
So sorry about that. But
You have, to be fair,
they have like the same genetics, basically.
yeah, I'll give that much. So for a little bit of background lore, because I originally got into men's physique from Gerald Alavazo, and in that junior lineup, I think that was the best junior men's physique lineup year to date. Josh Krogan was in that as well as like Reese Kiffin, mate. There were a whole bunch of crazy names in that lineup. So Fildo and Gerald, both Filipino dudes, both juniors, just have like these absolutely massive chests, just super tight midsection, and like both of them, like now that like they've gotten older, like no longer juniors, and no longer natural. They were both natural at the time of that show as well, by the way, when they did that first ever junior lineup, which is crazy to fucking think about. So now I think both those boys have gone assisted, and fuck me, does it like, yeah. I don't know. I personally would have gave this to Fildo. I don't know whether that's just because I'm biased and I like his physique.
Yeah.
But like,
So from what I can see, I agree. The guy at the back, I believe, probably won from the guy in the green Tulas. He won from the back, I would say, just in terms of completeness from the back. I thought Fildo won quite easily from the front door. The guy struggled with his midsection in the front pose. In the green shows, so by the way, this guy in green, he's also natural. So
did he do the natural show as well?
He did the natural show as well. He won his class in the naturals. However, he didn't win the overall. We'll get onto that pretty soon. But that just shows the level of the natural show, where the guy who's beaten Fildo in an overall ends up not winning the natural overall. So that just shows the level. I thought Fildo should have won, personally, based on everything that I saw. It's one of them where it's the opinions on the day. So I think Fildo is going to do the pro qualifier in a few weeks in Maidenhead. So
Ken, on that note, just quickly, I want your opinion. Sorry, mate, I don't know your name. I know you are listening. D-Lock versus Fildo. Who do you have?
Fildo.
Yeah, I'd have Fildo.
Yeah,
like,
I would. I think D-Lock could have him. I think he would have him from the back, actually. From the front door, just he's way more polished, complete, is Fildo. And better poser as well, I would say. D-Lock, by the way, if you are watching the podcast, really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
I've spoken to him a few times now. He's like super, like just down to earth, chill, humble, and everything. Quite unassuming. So yeah, man, really good guy. He'll do well in men's physique for sure. I think one day he'll get a pro card, whether that's at the next show or some point in the future. But yeah, man, he's got a crazy physique. So that's the men's physique, normal, unnatural part of the show. I suppose we'll just go straight on to men's physique with the natural part then. So that was crazy standard, absolutely crazy standard. Like, there were quite a lot of classes. There were like some novice classes, junior classes, and then obviously open as well. So in terms of highlights, there was obviously David. So David also competed. No, I don't know if you want to just share Two Bros page, because there were quite a few classes.
Yeah,
so David competed.
The Two Bros account itself, yeah.
Yeah, David competed in the same class as, I can't remember his name. Addy is his name. So he's called Legendary on Instagram. So he won the PCA, both PCA overalls the week before, the first timers in the naturals. So it's him and D-Lock the same class
Yeah.
in Two Bros, and David won. So go on the post before. So that's David, by the way. The post, go on the... Yeah, here we go. So that
Fuck,
was...
that's the
Sorry.
guy that's natural.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the overall. So this guy just struggled to control his midsection throughout. Like, he just couldn't stay on his abs. If he could, I think he could have won the whole thing, honestly. I think he's like that completeness with the delts and everything. He could have possibly won. But yeah, David, I think, was a deserved winner in the end. I actually really like the guy on the right.
Oh.
I think he's called Reza. I liked his physique. I think he's like super conditioned, good shape and everything as well. But yeah, I think David did deserve to win on the day. But if you go on the other post, not this post, the next one. Yeah, this is where all the... This is the... Yeah, David's class. So, oh, no, that's the overall. So go on to the next one. Go on to the next one. Yeah, so that's actually Bobby Fotheringham there as well. So he's a well-known guy in the PNBA scene. So he came second in the class where the overall winner of the previous show won. So go on to the next one. And the next one. Ah, no, that's it. Ah, yeah. Okay. So I thought they had more there. That's fine. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, I think just trying to think of any other standouts. Yes, okay. So there was a guy in a men's physique class by the name of Prosper, right? And you'll know him very well because he actually won the classic overall. Absolutely crazy physique. Crazy. One of the craziest physiques I've seen on a natural bodybuilding stage ever. Like, look at that. Look at them legs. I think people were on the day were talking about this guy before. Everyone was kind of knew he'd win the overall anyway. But when you saw him there on stage, I'm like, people were like, is this guy really natural? I mean, you just see the difference in levels. Like,
right.
That was the classic overall. And you just see the difference in muscularity, shape, everything. It's just on another level to any of the guys in there.
The other dudes are like good as well.
Just look at them legs. Yeah. Look at them legs. Look at the fullness and condition of them legs. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. So, yeah, Prosper, absolutely insane. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, if he goes for a pro card, he'll get it in classic physique. I think he will quite easily. So, yeah, that'll be pretty cool to see. So, very crazy physique. But what I found interesting was the fact that he did men's physique as well. So, I think I spoke to, because he's coached by Jace, and I spoke to Jace beforehand, and Jace showed me some pictures of him in board shorts, and I'm like, I think he might be a little bit too big for men's physique. And on the day, I think he finished 4th or 3rd in his class in men's physique, and I think the judges were just punishing him because it was like, it just didn't look quite right with him being that big for men's physique. But yeah, man, fair play. It's absolutely insane physique for classic, and yeah, he'll do very well. Even in the Pro League, I think he'll do really well in Classic, even as a natural. So that'll be cool to see. So then we go on to open bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real bodybuilding. So this was very, very interesting. So this was the winner of the overall, Christoph Zhang. He was actually from Germany. So for those who were there on the day, this kid did, I think, genuinely about 10 classes on the same day. So you can enter numerous classes. So he competed in every open class that he could, in every classic class that he could. So he did like junior novice, open, junior, whatever. And there were a bunch of other classes he did as well. And he won nearly all of them. He won about eight of his classes. And then he went on to the overall in open bodybuilding. And as you can see here from the photos, these were the shots. He's got a really nice vacuum in terms of it's quite deep, and he's got good classic posing and quite round muscle bellies. But when we were in the crowd and looking at it, I think most people were like, it's between the guy in the middle, the big guy, and AJ. So this guy is the guy who's bigger, and AJ was the guy with better condition.
I think his name's Craig Bolton.
Craig Bolton, yeah. And we were like, I'm not really sure which way it could go between them. And then the overall winner got announced as this Christoph, and everyone was like gobsmacked in the crowd.
I'm sure there's a video somewhere of it.
I don't know if there is, but
I've seen a video
when he got announced, it was like, really? Really?
Out
So,
of curiosity, do you know how much it is to do an individual Two Bros class?
Is it not like 80
we
quid?
discussed this, so it's over £100, I think. Yeah,
So what? Like, including like a Two Bros membership, that was £1,500.
probably. I don't know how.
Not
Yeah.
even including flights if he's from Germany.
Yeah,
Accommodation. That's a £2,000 fucking.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's a robbery because I don't know, but all I'm saying, I personally did not agree with that decision. I thought if either AJ or Craig would have won, I'd have been like, fair enough. That'd have been fine. Yeah, strange, very very strange decision, I would say, because I don't see where he won at all in any criteria for bodybuilding. I didn't see where that
more
kid won.
suited to classic than he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He is.
you know.
And funnily enough, in one of the classic classes, he came like third.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So-
sure he done worse in classic, no?
The standard in classic was better than open bodybuilding in that show, which is interesting. I think more people are just going towards classic now, even though maybe they could do well in. I mean, Prosper would have won the overall in open easily if he decided to do it, but he just wanted to do classic instead. But yeah, it was a good show as a whole. The standard was good. Yeah, some good athletes, but yeah, that was an interesting decision to say the least. So yeah, that was the Two Bro show. I don't know if you boys have anything more to say.
No, I wasn't there. I only saw, like, obviously, whenever you saw that AJ's competing, people were going to be like, oh, we'll see how he does. I didn't really see that guy coming and winning the overall at all. Even looking at the lineups beforehand, like, I wouldn't have thought it went to him. But again, I wasn't there on the day, and it's up to he can't control it really. Like,
It's
the
not. I
judges-
don't blame. I mean, he seemed
Yeah.
like a really nice kid when he was like giving his victory speech and everything. But yeah, it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
Different people have different things which they favour, I suppose.
different strokes for different things.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
one thing that has definitely been made apparent that in the top level of natural bodybuilding, you know, like you are going to see a lot of these guys being competitive with enhanced guys, you know. And I think it's one of those that goes to show where it's like, if you're thinking about going assisted, you know, because you think that's going to help you win a show easier, look around. Like, it's all I ever say is just like, look at the standard elsewhere. Like, that is a qualifying show. If you have a motherfucker like Prosper turning up to a qualifying show, what do you think the finals are going to be like? Do you really think that, like, you are able to not give it 100% in the space of a prep when that is where the standard is these days for naturals, let alone, you know, whether you think the standard is going to be for enhanced guys? Because, like, I can name some crazy enhanced dudes that are not yet, you know, who don't have their pro cards yet, and then, you know, you're seeing guys like that turn up as well, and it's like the bar is set so high, so it's like, I don't know, just like, don't count your chickens before they hatch. You know, if you're gonna go and compete next year, be aware of what you're up against. Is all I'll say, and set yourself some realistic expectations, especially if you want to go assisted as well, or you're even considering that. Like, you
Yeah.
know what you're getting yourself into.
Do you boys reckon you'll go for Two Bros next year?
No.
Maybe. I think for me,
I am.
are you?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the same show?
Let's do it.
What one do you want to do?
Whatever works. Time scale wise.
I saw one that was like a Squid Game themed one. Do you want to do?
I think we might be in different classes though.
What height classes?
You'll be in like the highest one. I'll be in the one below, I reckon.
And Noah would be
So
on the one.
I'm in
I'll
class,
be the one with Cam then. I'll be the one
I'm in
with Cam
class
then.
E. I think I'm in class E. You'll be in class F.
6 foot plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they should just call it that. Class
Yeah.
6 foot plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would have been in D-Lock's class yesterday.
Mate.
Because me and him are the same height.
Surely, like, it does vary. Does it vary by how busy the show is?
No, it doesn't. Which is, I think they should change this. So PCA do this,
Yeah.
but Two Bros, they have the set classes, so they can be a class. For example, class E had 6 people in, I think, and then the next one had 1 person in. So the next class had 1 person in the whole class,
See,
and it's like,
I don't get why you do that because it makes the show
Yeah.
longer, and
I
that
know,
person
I know.
who's gone by himself will want to
Yeah.
compete against other people.
Yeah,
So
100%,
it's like-
100%. But that's just the way it is for Two Bros. So there's a chance you might be the only one in your class.
Well, not if Noah decides to compete with me because he is in fact taller than you. So
He is not.
He
He's
is.
absolutely
No,
not.
Guys,
Cares.
fuck off. We've
Well,
proven this time and time again.
No, please enter a Two Bros show just so we can get measured in height
I can't
officially
believe
by the
it's
Two
come
Bros
to this.
people.
That is the only reason I'm paying £100 just so I can get
Yes,
fucking.
yes, it's worth it.
Oh yeah, you'll also be against me as well, bro.
Yeah. Imagine if we all compete in the same show. That'd be insane.
That'd be fun.
Fucking.
Man. That'd be,
Yeah, that'll be sick.
that'd be sick when none of us place. We just get a big group picture together. At the end. Well, guys,
Yeah, mate.
did it. We
Finish-
lost.
Mate, finished second in a very competitive class today out of 2 people.
Have 2
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good if we all do it just to qualify for an IFBB qualifying show. Because all we have to do is turn up. Yeah, we'll all just turn up fat, and then we'll just do like a Jack Eagles, turn up peak off season, have our
Yeah.
pictures taken on stage, and then just take a big fat picture of all of us at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am going to do a 90 Pro qualifier, though.
That I think that'd be cool. The
Just to see how I do.
why not, mate? Like you are a WNBF pro. Like
Yeah,
you'll be
yeah,
able to
why
hold your
not?
own.
I would regret it if I didn't give it a go.
Yeah.
The
Thinking,
opportunity-
what if?
I don't know. I think I do agree with that. Like if the opportunity
Yeah.
is there, you're not going to lose anything by giving it a go.
Yeah.
Like.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know. Kinesthetics entering the show. I don't know. I've wanted to do the same show as you for a little while. It's a frequent debate that we keep having on the pod.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it.
And then whoever at that point, you know, whichever one of us loses, it's like Roachful because we can be having a debate about something like.
Yeah, but
When
I
you're
beat
like,
you.
Yeah, I beat you. Yeah, gold medal on every episode. Mate, if you beat me, you can wear a gold medal every time.
That's it. If I beat you, all my anime opinions are automatically better than yours.
Yeah, it's true. You actually, when you come over to mine, you know, it's actually your house now, bro. You know, yeah, I'll just excuse myself. Fuck.
That's it. I'll be calling you son.
Yeah, I mean, I should already be calling you uncle, now that you're like 35.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not 35.
36.
Sorry, mate. Kev's gonna be getting his bus pass before his pro card is crazy.
Oh, that's low.
Yeah.
Pretty low, that.
So
PCA Masters.
yeah, PCA Masters show when we're still doing. I would have long passed away since then. Yeah, fucking hell. Depending on what this blog saying. Anyway, moving swiftly on from that. This also has been a spiffing week in terms of watching our favourite Asian cartoons. We've had the release of episode 1 of Gagacha. Is that how you say it? The one that I keep going on about and I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Is it Gachakuta? Is it?
Probably.
That's it.
Yeah.
Have you,
Sounds right, mate.
have you boys seen it?
Nope.
Not yet. Have you?
Yes. Yeah, okay.
How is it?
I'll give you my honest opinion. Have you boys seen Cyberpunk Edge Runners episode 1?
Yes.
Very, very similar in terms of that. It's a lot of the writing is incredibly on the nose. They're trying to fit in as much dialogue and epilogue into like the first 15 minutes as possible. So like they're very, very on the nose with the difference in classism within the space of the show. They're very, very much like, oh, you are my uncle who raised me from when I was an orphan and I was all alone. And he was like, yes, but you have also been there for me from day one. So, like, they're not communicating like normal people. They're trying to film.
Anime sometimes can be like that, though. I've noticed.
yeah.
Certain anime can be quite like that in terms of they have to spell out everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very much like trying to fit in a lot in the space of 23 minutes. Which I get. Like, I do get it at time. Like, clearly the premise of the show is very complex. The animation was pretty cool. The audio balance was fucking god-awful. It got incredibly loud at some points and then like dead quiet in others. Like whoever was in charge of the EQ did a pretty shite job. Everything else, great. I think it set the tone quite well. I'm excited for episode 2. It wasn't as good as Night of the Living Cat. Episode 1 of that, I'm not going to lie, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if that gets nominated for a couple hours. That was probably the funniest anime I've seen in a little while.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like genuinely, like if you boys haven't seen that, you'd fucking enjoy it so much. It's genuine. It's so great. The show doesn't take itself seriously at all. If you like Mr. Sakamoto, you fucking love the show.
Cats.
Mate, it's so funny. Even the 3D rendering on some of the cats is pretty good. Like they've done a good job. Like it's not a bad show at all. I literally just got done with episode 1 for an NPS spike, and I was like, do you know what? Yeah, fair play. That's sick.
Night of the Living Cat.
Yeah, it's a zombie apocalypse film in which there's a rare disease that the Genesis cat, when you touch him, you turn into a cat, and this
I'm so here for this.
spread through the town, and it's a survival film.
I might actually watch that tonight.
Mate, it's
With
so,
my cats.
it's so funny, mate. Kez would be alive because Kez fucking hates animals. I'd be immediately cooked. I used to feed cats on my prep walks, so like,
Yeah.
The Russian blue.
the Russian blue, mate. Oh, bring me back to the Russian blue. Oh, mate, I've seen some right good cats on the walks. This is fucking awful podcast material, but I've been going out cat spotting again to get my steps up, and fuck me, best form of cardio, mate. Check.
Really good at it.
Yeah. You know, if you know
Show
where
the
they
cat.
lie, where they reside, certain cats have like spawn points. If you get into those spawn,
Put a tactical insertion down where.
yeah. I'm like, I'll make sure to pass that route on my way. Yeah, I'm like, fuck yeah. Oh mate, best feed, instant dopamine hit. Right.
I don't. If people don't like cats, it's a red flag. Kez.
I didn't
red
say I
flag.
don't like cats. I just don't like them.
You don't like dogs, though. Like you don't like dogs.
Yeah, I don't like them. I would say I've eased up on them throughout the years. If you asked me 10 years ago, I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
What? Go on, mate.
No, I don't want to get beat done by some animal rights people who are watching the
What the
AniGains
fuck would you
podcast.
do to a
No,
dog?
never mind. Let's not
Make
get
this
into
sound
it.
a bit mental here.
No, let's not get into this.
Okay. Right. But Kez has since reformed to dogs. You like Stitch?
Yeah, I like Stitch.
Yeah. Like you can't not like Stitch, bro. And Noah really likes Stitch.
No, I
He's
really
the
like
boy.
Stitch. He's got some marks to prove it.
Yeah.
I don't. None have stayed. Thank my sticky marks are gone.
The sticky scales.
The sticky scars are gone. But he is the boy. He is the boy.
Yeah.
Noah, have you been watching anything?
I watched episode 1 of Sword Art Online.
What, Gun Gale or just Sword Art Online?
No, just the season 1.
Okay.
Put it down. Not that interested in it. I can't lie. I did put Blue Lock back on once again for about the 10th time. I just can't get into it. I need to have if I'm watching an anime, it needs to be something that I've wanted to watch, and then I'll be able to commit my time to it. If that makes sense.
I agree with that. I
can't.
agree with that.
So see how we done the random one. I've went, fuck, I've got to watch Sword Art Online. I've pressed episode 1 and I've been in a fucking film mood and watched
Yeah, you're just trying to wait to get it done.
through her face the whole time. I think if I invest my time, I need to be moved to watch it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So,
I've started a new anime.
is this all of this just to say that none of us watched the show that we were supposed to watch?
Pretty
I
much.
started it. I watched 1 episode. Cam, you watched half. Kez done none.
I watched the trailer and I'm like, you know what? I watched the trailer and I'm like, I don't think this is going to be for me, to be honest.
Cobra Adventure.
Yeah,
Mate.
Cobra.
Fuck.
To be fair, Cam, yours was decent. Yours is Harimia. Both me and Kez have said good things
Oh,
about
that's
that.
worth watching.
I mean, okay, it's not bad so far. Like, I
What episode are you on?
1.
All right.
I got halfway through, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I know where this is going.
Oh, it's
They
not like
fall in love.
unpredictable.
Whoa.
But the thing is, the
Man,
good thing
oh,
about
God.
it is it explores other characters as well. It's not just the main two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, I did start a new anime.
What's that?
Go on.
So what I did is, I went on ChatGPT and I searched what are the best written anime, and I think they gave me 10, and I think 9 of them I'd seen already. So it was your standard Attack on Titan, Code Geass, Death Note, Steins Gate,
Blue Lock.
all them that I've already seen. One I hadn't seen, and it's by the name of Paranoia Agent. So I think it was made in the early 2000s, and basically the premise of it is there's this kid who goes around on rollerblades, hitting people with a baseball bat, and they call him Lil Slugger. That's his name.
Lil
His
Slugger.
nickname, and it's basically like a detective show of them trying to like find out who this Lil Slugger is, and each episode he has like a new victim, and it's them trying to piece together, okay, what's the link between these victims? But every episode it follows like each of these victims' stories and the trauma that's going on in their lives, and it's kind of like, okay, is this little slugger actually a real person, or is it just some trauma that's manifesting and basically causing this paranoia within the city over this mysterious kid with a baseball bat? It's actually really good because it's not just about some kid going around. It's more about psychology and how these rumors can influence like how people behave and everything.
Does he kill him?
Definitely worth a watch.
Does he kill
What's
him?
that, sorry?
Does he kill him with the baseball bat, or does he just bonk him?
No, he just hits them and sends them into the hospital, but he doesn't kill them.
Okay. All right. Oh.
Yeah. But it's definitely worth watching so far. I'm 4 episodes in. I'm hooked so far.
I might. Can I swap out Horimiya for Lil Slugger, or do I have to watch?
I mean,
No.
go for it. None of us at this point have
It's not
followed
like
it,
we've
so
tried at all.
Mate,
Yeah,
we're so
none of us-
shit. We literally have one job.
yeah. I mean, it's called Paranoia Agent.
Yeah. To be fair, I actually kept up to date with new season shit, like the shit that people want to hear about. I did that because I love anime, you guys.
I gave the suggestion for this week's video.
You did, and that is a fucking marvelous segue, because as you can see, we are 3 very opinionated individuals, and I think the only thing one of the biggest things that can encapsulate a good show is a good fucking character. So, Noah's idea this week, which surprisingly of all, the 3x3 victim himself has decided, we will do another 3x3 of our favourite anime characters.
Basically, Noah's volunteered to get cooked again.
I don't know
Ian,
what I did, like,
shut up before you fucking start shouting at your YouTube, right? I think that this is good, and that's that.
hate
There you go. I'm right, you're wrong.
Mate, you hit him with the Nina Boo Boo.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So when it comes to, I thought if we're doing it off what we like, we've got quite different tastes in anime. I think.
Me and Kaz don't, to be honest.
I would say
The way
ours,
Kez looks at characters is different though.
ours are the most similar, but I think our characters might differ a little bit.
Maybe. I really have picked people who I'm more so kin with, you know, people who are like, yeah, that person makes me feel happy when they're on screen. Not that, like, oh, they're written so well. Some of them
Yeah.
are.
See, I've gone for well-written characters who are, like,
Whoa,
interesting.
That's not the question.
No.
It's what
Yeah,
your
it is.
favourite characters
like.
are.
Yeah,
Who do you like?
I like well-written characters. It doesn't mean I have to love them as people, but I feel like if this character's written really well, I'm like, this is such an interesting character, and that's what I love as characters.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's whatever the fuck we like. If you don't like
Yeah.
it, you can
Yeah.
tell our farts. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Kez, on that note, set the standard.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Pull it out, kids.
Let me share my
Because Lord
screen.
knows it's going to get worse with me and Noah. It's going to
Right.
get slightly worse with me and then dive.
I reckon one of you might have to go for because it's making me change my security settings.
Disregard everything I've said.
Yeah. It's actually it's making me quit. Actually, what I can do
Right, this.
is send my 3x3 to one of you, and then you lot share it because it's making me quit Riverside.
Kez, it shouldn't
Cam,
be.
you can show.
Alright, okay.
Eh?
Let me try to see if I can do it. It shouldn't be doing that, mate. I don't know why it's doing that.
No, because I've just got a new computer. So it's my first time.
On your computer there,
It's my
mate.
first time on my new computer.
You get something up
No,
there,
I
mate.
want a new computer. Crazy. Bros.
No, it's for my first time on my new computer sharing my screen on Riverside.
Okay. Do we want me to go first?
1 second, 1 second. No, it's not letting me. Yeah, you go first. Whilst I figure this out.
Okay.
Well, Cam, get
No,
up.
wait.
Oh, fuck it.
Audio listeners are having a great time right now.
I know.
Can you see anything?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Let's go. Let's go. Right then.
Fuck, our list is different.
Right. So shall I go from 9 upwards?
Yeah.
I very much
Right.
expected a lot of this list, but
Okay.
it's good.
So-
It's a good list.
Number 9, Johann Liebert. So this is the main villain from the anime Monster. I think what makes him such a good character and such a good villain is the mystery behind this character, in that he doesn't actually get a lot of screen time in the anime. He's kind of this mysterious figure, basically whose life was saved by this Dr. Tenma as a kid, and then he comes back and he's like a serial killer. But the main mystery is like why he's doing all this, and the psychology behind this character is like one of the most interesting things I've seen in any anime, and how cold-blooded he is and how he voices things is very, very cool and very different from a lot of the other villains who are a bit more, let's just say they have special powers or they're super strong physically. He's more one of the most like cerebral villains, I would say, in any anime. So I love Johann as a character. So that's Johann. Next one, Thorfinn from Vinland Saga.
Nice.
I mean, we've talked a lot about Thorfinn as a character. In terms of character progression, character development, I'd say up there with any character in any anime. Started off as a kid who just wanted to explore and adventure. Then his dad died. Spoiler alert. And then he was just filled by hatred and revenge, and that was his whole motivation. And then season 2 was the story of him, just refinding his purpose in life. But one thing that I love is like it didn't happen like right away. He had like a period where he felt empty, and I think it's a very obviously you're not gonna have an exact same character arc as Thorfinn, but it's quite a relatable character in terms of okay, you've had one certain motivation, you lose that, and then it's like what do you do from there, and then it's like refining your purpose in life. It's even though as I said, it's not directly relatable. A lot of people I feel like can relate to Thorfinn's character arc, so that's why I love Thorfinn. Next one, Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think it's one of the best anime of all time, and I think as a protagonist in that, he's so cool. I mean, he was introduced as like more of a goofy character, I'd say, to start off with, in terms of quite hot-headed, like a standard hot-headed protagonist. But as you go throughout time, you learn his story and his motivations for wanting to reclaim his and his brother's body, for those that have seen the show, and it's a lot more depth and a lot more layered of a character than what you initially assume he is. So that's why I love Edward. Next one, Killua. Obvious reasons, really. I mean, drip is off the charts with Killua. I think he's one of the drippiest characters in any anime. And then other than that, I mean, once again, character development. He started off as this assassin kid who was just brought up to kill people, basically. And then obviously he meets Gon, And I would say, as an anime friendship, them two goated. Killer and Gon's friendship is like the best friendship in any anime ever. And then through him doing that and meeting the other friends, Leorio and Kurapika, he then develops as a character himself and learns to not go by what his family were telling him to do previously and have his
Whole
own
thing of
thoughts,
him,
his
like,
own mind.
pulling out
What's
the
that?
needle. The whole thing of him like
The
pulling out
needle,
the
yeah,
needle.
with Illumi, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the question?
No, I was just like more so like adding to the point of like how you watch that, how that changes him, how like
Yeah.
essentially pre-biased thoughts stick within his head, and
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because his initial instinct initially was to like, if you're not sure of if you're gonna win, then run away from the fight. Whereas after that point, he would be a bit more brave and then run into situations to protect his friends more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Killer was such a, and then obviously later on in the show, the relationship he then develops with Aluka, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aluka, that's really cool as well, and just shows a new side to his character. So yeah, Killer was Zoldyck up there. Number 5, Lelouch, Lamperouge from Code Geass. I've talked about Lelouch before, but I think these next two characters are quite similar in terms of the way they portrayed. Although Lelouch isn't really an evil character, he's more of a morally grey character who's willing to do questionable things to achieve his goals. But ultimately he wants good. But yeah, once again, how he was written as this like character who fell from grace and supposedly becomes evil, and then in the final episode you learn his true motivations. Yeah, I think it's a really well character, and I think I'll never advocate for dub, but his dub voice actor is probably one of the best in any anime. And then that goes into the next character, like Yagami, another amazing dub. That was the show and the character that got me into anime, I would say. Light. I mean, when you hear like his little inner monologue whenever he's doing his little scheming, absolutely goated moments in Death Note. So yeah, Light is up there from any, like, in terms of, well, what I love is that he also, but towards the end, he got arrogant and spiraled in terms of missing out on things, and it kind of shows if anything, it's a regression of his character as the show goes on and as he becomes mad with power. So Light is like a good, not an anti-hero, but I suppose you could maybe say an anti-hero as a character.
He's a straight villain.
He is a villain, but he's the main character who's also the villain of the show, which is not normal for an anime. Normally, the main character is the good guy. So I suppose that's where Death Note is different, in that you're looking at it through the perspective of the bad guy, which is pretty cool for an anime. So like, yeah, he has some pretty funny lines for those who don't know the famous potato chip line as well.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, goated. Okay, next one, Guts from Berserk. I mean, not much more needs to be said really about Guts. I mean, Berserk is kind of the story of a guy like on a mission of like self-discovery, in terms of finding his way in the world and finding his purpose. All he knows is like the way of the sword, and he's just like, his only way of navigating is just to kill people, I suppose. But then obviously he finds like, is it the Band of the Hawk?
Yeah, he recruits. Yeah.
I mean, that's Griffith's band, isn't it? But then obviously he gets friends through that, and then he meets Koska as well, and then he kind of becomes more of a layered character with actual emotions, feelings, and then he actually questions, okay, like, well, why is I'm here? What is my purpose? And I just think, in terms of character design as well, I think he's up there with any character in terms of the drawing, and it's really cool. Also an amazing dub in the anime. So that's Guts. Next one isn't an anime as of yet, but it's Musashi from Vagabond. Also Tenzin. Yeah, his actual name is Tenzin in Vagabond. So this is actually pretty similar, I suppose, to Guts, in that he's introduced as this character full of rage, who's just like an amazing fighter who literally wants to prove himself as like the best swordsman. So he just wants to go to all the best swordsmen, challenge them, and beat them in battle. And that's like his only goal in life to start off with. And then the story is about him developing as a character, like learning his actual true purpose and like what it actually means to be a warrior, through meeting and speaking to lots of different wiser people. And yeah, another one where character progression is probably up there with any form of media I've ever seen, with Musashi. Even though I haven't finished yet, I'm on chapter 11 of 12, so I'm nearly finished in a minute. And then number one, it's a bit of bias because I just think he's like so-called Itachi from Naruto. So yeah, I mean, just his whole story in terms of the way he's, well, one, he's cool in terms of he's introduced as this bad guy who is the guy that Sasuke needs to kill. And the only thing you know about him is that he killed his own clan and you think he's this evil guy. But then when you learn the truth about why he did what he did, like, I remember very vividly when I saw that arc for the first time, I was blown away, like that Itachi arc. When it was revealed, like, why he did what he did. And then even onto the later arcs in Naruto as well, when more of the truth about him was revealed, when he gets like reanimated in the fourth Ninja War arc. Yeah, everything about him, character design, voice acting, his dialogue is amazing, like absolutely amazing. How he was written, everything, like my favorite character in any anime. I think you'll probably find, like, throughout these characters, I prefer darker characters with that are more mysterious and like with deeper writing to them, that you kind of not really sure what their, I suppose, motivations are, and that they're developed a bit later on throughout the story. So I prefer when there's a bit more to the character than what meets the eye. So that's kind of my criteria, what I prefer for a character. And I think we also need to preface this as well. We couldn't choose two characters from the same anime. So this is why I've kind of gone through a mix of things. So yeah, that's my little list.
That's a really good list.
Yeah, I like.
You're a fan.
That all of your characters have a sort of perfect level of imperfection to them.
Yeah.
I think the coldest character, and probably the most unique one that you mentioned with your number 9th pick. You know,
I've heard of everyone but him.
John. So I've also been watching Monster, and he is the one character where he's just ingeniously brilliant, and there is so much mystery behind him as an individual, where every other character is flawed to an extent. I mean, kind of including him, but not really. He very much reminds me of Hannibal Lecter.
Yes.
You know, yeah, like almost.
Definitely. That's a great comparison, actually.
Yeah, like in the terms of that, they're so calculated, and they're almost charming into how they can get into your head, and how they almost like manipulate the other people in their environment. They're not dangerous because they're inherently strong or powerful. They're dangerous because they're always a step ahead. That's almost what I like all about these characters here, because these characters are constantly, all of them, are dealing with another individual who is a step ahead. Thorfinn has Askeladd, you know. Killua has Illumi, you know. Light has L, you know, or has L, you know. Guts Griffith, you know what I mean? Like, every other character has somebody opposing against them who exploits their flaws, and it's because you can see that these characters are flawed and layered is where you almost see them shine at their fullest. The complexity of them, which is an awesome segue for me, because my list is not this good. I very much pick mine based on who I like. Like, you know, like I say objectively, you have the correct choice.
Yeah.
As normal.
I think I'll have the fan favourite choice. Let me just share my screen. There we go.
You got Griffith and Hisoka. Oh, you've got Hisoka. You actually have Hisoka on there.
So,
oh my days.
I'm not going to cover.
Oh, James!
Mate. And
then you've got Tengen as well.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah.
That's a fucking good list.
I'm not going to cover any of the same characters
Okay.
That Mystic Aesthetics has chosen. So, number 9, Todo, Mr. My Best Friendo. How could you not have this big, buff, brilliant man on your fucking list? He is, I think, in the time of which he came into JJK, is a time where I was mentally switching off from the show a little bit. Because every character, apart from, fuck, my memory's slipping. God, I have that.
Yuji.
Yuji. There we go. Every character except him. Gojo's like a little bit like zany and wacky, but he was the only one who I really liked. You know, when he first appears on the screen and he wants to know immediately what type of woman is yours, I was like, whoa, this is a fucking huge change of pace. Anytime he's on screen, I think the show is at its best. Incredible concept of a power as well. Boogie Woogie. Every time he claps his
Boogie Woogie.
he can swap positions around. It just makes things so much more entertaining. And visually, like, I'm one of these guys where my attention span is not great. So if you can keep me hooked to what you're doing, you know, if you can keep me, you know, like present in the moment, I'll love it. And anytime he's on the screen, it's so different from the rest of the premise of the show. So yeah, Todo had to get a fucking mention. Number 8, we've got, in my opinion, one of the best villains of all time, Garo, from One Punch Man. Now, do you boys familiar with One Punch Man and Garo?
Yeah.
So Garo was strong when he's first initially introduced. He was a disciple of one of the, basically like the top 3 superheroes in the verse. He studied underneath him, but then he went rogue. And when I think you first see him in the story, he has almost like reverse shonen progression in that, like, you see him get stronger and stronger throughout the series, and he basically stands for, there is inequality in the world. Why is there villains and heroes? Why do we not have individuals representing what is theirs? He's basically almost saying that there is no bad guy, and I will be the bad guy to prove that. And it's weird because he's not incredibly strong when you first get seen to him, and you see him lose a fair amount, but you end up rooting for him. And I think it's so brilliantly written because that's exactly how he started sympathizing with the quote-unquote bad guys, you know. Yeah, I think he's fucking so well written, and his progression as a character throughout the story gets better and better and better. When we're talking about like characters with flaws to them, my god, Garo is not absolute evil, and he never is at any point in the series, but he's never good. You wouldn't look at him and be like, just because he's got a soft spot for certain individuals, doesn't make him a good guy. Objectively the same, like, just because you got heroes helping other people doesn't make them good. It makes you think a little bit more. And in terms of a complex, but also, mate, anytime he's on screen, like even with that second season of One Punch Man, which isn't as good as the first, he saved and carried that series so hard through just his absolute peak through being on screen. So yeah, also he's got a fucking sick physique. You're going to start noticing that with almost everybody here. Their physiques are insane. Gaara's physique, correct. Number 7, we have Regan from Mob Psycho 100. Regan is a fucking fraudster who takes advantage of Mob, a young boy, and he exploits him for money. There's not much more to be said than that. He sounds like a scummy piece of shit, and he's very slimy. He worms his way through everything. Again, he's not inherently evil, because there is absolute evil within the show of exercising evil spirits. And he's almost like the seedy underbelly, which is a bit worse. Is you're exploiting a child and you're taking money off of him. But he's very funny. So
there is more to his character as well than that. You see like some actual sincere scenes with him and Mob that he does actually like try and get Mob to believe in himself more and everything. That he is like somewhat of a mentor figure to him.
He is.
Especially as the show develops and goes on towards the end.
Yeah, he definitely is, but this is what I mean by at the same time. would you classify him as being a good or a bad guy?
Good.
It's not that simple. You know,
I'd say he's a good, flawed character.
he's a very flawed character.
But he's on the good side in the show.
Yeah, to an extent. What he does is not morally. He tries to be a good role model, but he is a big fuck up himself.
I've got another one in that show. Dimple.
Do
Would you say Dimple's good or bad?
He almost sits on the complete inverse side of him, where Dimple is bad, but he's got so many good qualities to him. And he the only thing that's Dimple is objectively bad, but he cares about mobs, so you think he's good. Because
right at the end, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of the, but is he? He does the right thing. I don't know if that inherently makes you good, though. I don't know. This is a big ethical debate.
This is.
I did choose the characters that I just liked, but I didn't realise that there's a bit more to, than funny man. Speaking of the exploitation of children, we have Hisoka.
Oh dear. Here we go.
Right. Okay.
Swing.
What is wrong with Hisoka? Why don't you? What's your gripe, Kez? I don't understand what's the problem.
He's literally a predator.
No, he's not. He is entranced by one thing and one thing only. He loves to fight, and he loves he can see the potential in certain individuals and how well they can fight. He's less of a predator, and I'd say more of a.
Looking at potential in children's crazy.
Have you seen the scene when he's walking behind Killua and Gon and looking at the behinds and staring?
That scene was taken out of context.
Okay then.
I like Hisoka. He's fun.
He is fun.
I thought this was a list of your favourite characters.
It is.
He's my favourite. I like him. He's funny.
Okay.
Tell me.
I'm interested to know about the next one.
Well, okay. We'll move on to James in a second because there's a lot of unpacking there. Yeah. With Hisoka, I think Hunter x Hunter is almost at its best 99% of the time when Hisoka is on the screen. Because he is a man who is purely motivated by his own personal interest. He doesn't give a toss about what's going on around him. He only cares about what's in it for him and how that can benefit him. And no one likes him. Literally in the show, no one likes Hisoka at any point. But he doesn't care. He's not fazed by it because he's so self-absorbed with his one desire. And I think that that's respectable. You can come at me, but I think that's a...
I tell you another shout from Hunter x Hunter for a character for this.
Who?
Tompa-san.
Tompa is
Tompa, the goat.
Strongest character in the world.
The absolute goat is Tompa.
Is the ultimate hater. If I can't do well, no one can.
Literally, have you seen the edit with Tompa versus Meruem?
Yes, I have. I do think Tompa would have stomped him, to be fair.
Definitely.
Had he had, swapped around his drink before the fight, would have gave Meruem a stomachache. And who can fight well on a poor tummy? No one.
Mate, wet 2 bros next year. I will be Tompa. I'll be putting stuff in your your pump product in your Nova pump.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put in some
Digest Max in there.
That's it. I'll put some
that would be so evil to give somebody
that would be absolutely hilarious.
That'd be so funny, bro. Speaking of absolutely hilarious, 5, we've got James from Pokemon. I fucking love James. He is the best part of Team Rocket. Bro is so funny. Bro does not miss. They're always up to mischief. James is just fucking funny, bro. He's got so many moments in which I actually rewatched the original season 1 of Pokemon. Whoever was in charge of writing James's character was so self-aware of what the show was, and that was the character that was designed to make your parents in the room chuckle and think, you know what, I will spend £400 on Pokemon products. He's so charming. He's so brilliantly funny. I'd be. Have you boys seen season 1 of Pokemon?
Yeah,
I've seen episodes.
Yeah, man.
I've watched
Rewatch
up
that
to Black and White. I've watched that up to there.
Mate.
Fucking unreal.
He's a timeless villain, and he's not even that bad to the end.
Yeah.
He's not really successful in what he does, but he doesn't give up, and I respect the fuck out of that. A relentless pursuit, fantastic character. Number 4, we've got Tengan from Demon Slayer. Now, Tengan has swag. We were talking about the most dripped out anime characters being Killua. I'd say Tengen doesn't, bro. Like, through his actual swag, this motherfucker is like the coolest, flashiest member of the Hashira. Bro has 3 wives. He's just got it like that. You know, he's got the best delts in anime, I'd probably say. And he has also carried, in my opinion, the best fight scene in all of anime. I think that warrants your place in the best anime list. He carried the Entertainment District arc of Demon Slayer so hard. I think he carried Demon Slayer so hard because I think it was on a dive. Mugen Train was good, but the season came back. The entire franchise came back to life because of this man. And if it is objectively one of the biggest shows today, I think it'd be wrong not to include Tengen objectively in that list. Bro's cold, his swords are cold. He has never had a moment on the screen which hasn't been cold. Thorfinn, Guts we covered with Kez, so I'm going to skip my piece on those for pretty much the same reasons. Number 1, we've got Mugen. Mugen is, I think, my favourite. He was the first one on the list for a reason. Bro is, I think, the coldest character of all time. The breakdancing vagrant sword style, from Ryukyu. This character is, again, kind of similar with Hisoka in this way in which he does whatever he wants, and he lives his life incredibly lawlessly. He fights for a cause of what he believes in, and you do see him towards the end of the season, like, kind of learn a bit more empathy as he goes along. But Bro is just, I don't know, man. Bro's just cold. There's no other way of putting it. He's just the most. He's like kind of Spike from Cowboy Bebop. If Spike was a little bit more realistic, I don't know, man. Mugen's cold. Mugen's cold. Breakdancing samurai. I don't know what else you want me to say. Every fight scene with him is cool. Every moment with him on screen is cool. I think the reason, one thing I have in common, fuck me, I couldn't get my words out there. Every character on the screen, whenever they're on screen, it's the coldest moment, I think. So yeah, that is my 3x3. Gentlemen, thoughts, opinions?
I like that. I've got a couple the same. I've not got any the same with Kez.
Oh wow.
I would say that's a solid list. Todo's a very good shout.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a wrong one where it's not like the main character of the show, but I agree. Like,
Yeah.
some of the scenes when he's in are like my favorite moments of Jujutsu Kaisen. When he's in, I don't know. He's just a cool character. Reagan's a good shout as well. Actually, he's a very, very funny character, well written one as well. There is more to him than meets the eye initially as well.
100%. Yeah.
Hisoka's an interesting one. To be fair, he's a very interesting character. Hisoka,
all interesting.
even now, you're still not sure what his deal is.
Yeah.
You still don't really know anything about him.
There's
do you?
mystery.
Even to this day, you don't know anything about his. Normally how anime they do backstory flashbacks.
Yeah.
Hisoka, there's none of that. You know nothing about him, really, do you?
What I really like, actually, so they cover his backstory in the manga, but it just leads to more questions.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, but that doesn't explain why he's the way he is. And, because basically, spoiler alert for the manga, he got picked up by a traveling circus. That's where he learnt to use Nen. But aside from that, that's really all you pick up. That's where he learnt magic, and that's where he learnt Nen. That's how they operate magic within the realm of the circus. They're all just Nen users. But it doesn't explain anything about him still. And in a world where it's so detailed and you get to know so much backbone about all the characters, bro just does his own thing constantly. And I like characters where you get to learn enough about them, you get invested on them, but you almost want to see more and you want to know more about them. You know, like with Mugen, not really fuck all is covered with his backstory. Guts' backstory is covered extensively. Same with Thorfinn's, but again, all the other characters, you just want to see more of them whenever they're on screen, I think. And I like the idea of wanting to see more out of your characters in anime, because that's what I think makes a good character. Somebody who you just want to see more of. I want to see more James from Pokemon. I think James should have his own spin-off series, in my opinion. Yeah, Noah. The moment we've all been.
Here we go. The moment you've all been waiting for.
Alright, so one thing that's very clear is that my...
Oh, just show it.
Yeah, I'm prefacing something right here.
You don't
I
need
like
to.
much more light-hearted characters than you guys. So if I go onto this, boom, right? This is my 3x3.
Oh my days.
See, Kez is already chiming, but fuck him. So, number 9, we have Shinichi Okazaki, right, from Nana. He is, I say light-hearted characters, he is a child who sold his body at 15, but he is the guitarist from Blast. Cold as fuck, he's the youngest member of the band, and I just like his character. When he comes on, I'm like, yeah, he's a cool dude. He's quite cool. So yeah, quite like him. He's always dripped out. Nice. That's it. Then we have Takeo Guda. Those that know, this is the main character of My Love Story. We have spoken about him a couple of times before here. Avid listeners of the AniGains podcast will not be unfamiliar with this man. He is the big Japanese boy who's learning his emotions and learning how to go through a relationship. Love that man. When he goes in the burning building, when he learns about jealousy, he's just the guy. He's the guy. I think he's Todo in a different font.
Yeah, he's like Todo if Todo went off bit off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Todo was him if he went off the rails. Yeah.
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 I won't go over the ones that the boys have already gone over, so Mugen and Todo as well. Although I'll briefly touch on Todo. One of my favourite scenes is when Todo hits a black flash and it does fuck all. And then like
Did the
there's
fake out.
literally no reason, does nothing. But then they've got the panel when it's all three of them. Yuji, Todo, and oh my god, the names. What's the guy's name again? Mahito. When all three of them have reached 120%.
Yes.
I loved it. So those are those 4. I think for me the top 6 are set. The bottom 3 could move around. Number 5, and I've backed him from day one, is Zenitsu. I think even though he's a bit annoying and he's a bit of a pussy, I think for me the coldest moments outweigh that. Like, I can put up with a bit of him being a bitch to make up for him when he closes his eyes.
The thing is, it's his default setting. The annoyingness is his default.
I know, but for me, I can put up with that because I know there's going to be a payoff. I know when push comes to shove, he's going to close his eyes and he's going to cut that spider's head off. When he's trying time and time again, like everyone's pulling off, water breathing Form 3 and air bending fucking number 7. He's only got number 1 in his locker time and time again. And the spider's like, what, he's doing this exact same move, don't let him do it. And all of a sudden he's there. The spiders are jumping on him. They all explode. I think
But you have to sift through like 3 episodes of bitching and whining. And,
I
oh
know.
my God,
And chasing Nezuko around the room.
Nezuko,
and
you're
it's frustrating at points. But for me, the lock-ins are...
the 5-second part where he's not.
Yes, Honestly, I can put up with him being a pain in the arse for those 5 seconds. For those 5 minutes of payoff, I can deal with it. I liked his backstory with the old man who used to be a hasher as well.
I like that. Oh, that's
I
cool.
thought that added a bit of layer. Like he's a bit more insecure about his ability, and then if you look back, he was always fucking failing. But it's like you fear a man who kicks one way 1,000 times than a man that kicks 1,000 ways one time. You know. Anyway,
You're a man who fancies children.
yes.
Yes, yes.
They're not always the best. Now, moving on, because I can see Kez is getting bored. We have number 4, Suzuya Juzo. Okay, he is a cold motherfucker. He is a ghoul investigator from Tokyo Ghoul. I've got the stitching tattoo on my arm from this man right here. Looks like a bit of a woman, however, he is a cold motherfucker. I like the scene when it's the twins and he pulls out the blades. I think he's cold. That's literally it. Then number 3, the top 3 are set in stone for me. My favourite characters. And number 3 is Hinata Shoyo from Haikyuu. I just love he's a very bubbly, energetic character. He's very immature, but he's got a goal and he just wants to get there. He wants to be the best spiker. He wants to jump as high as he can do. I really like the training arcs that you get. Like the Hasher training arc was wank, but they have a training arc in Haikyuu which was outstanding, and it's about them fighting against these not fighting, but playing against these different high schools. I really enjoyed it, and just seeing Hinata change over time and start to get on with Kageyama a bit more. I like him. He's also ginger, so I fuck with him.
Yeah.
Now, number 2, my fucking goat, the schizophrenic footballer, Bachira Megaru, right? He sees a monster when he plays football, and that's what makes him play. He plays like Ronaldinho. He's based on Ronaldinho, I'm pretty sure. He's a dribbler, which is my favourite type of footballer to watch. He's just a bit fucking mental, and he sees a monster, which is why he does certain things. He's just cold. He takes on everyone. He's one of the best players. And then number 1, which I'm surprised no one had Luffy, to be fair. I know, Kez, you've seen a bit more of One Piece, but
if I was to pick a One Piece character, I wouldn't have picked Luffy.
No, me neither.
Zoro.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have Brock.
Who?
Who?
The skeleton dude.
Oh, Brook.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
guy that just wants to see panties.
He's cool.
Yeah, he is cool. But I think Luffy, I would love to, if I could meet anyone, it'd be Luffy. I think Luffy is the fucking best guy about. He'd be such a laugh. He's the nicest fucker. The way he interacts with everyone and defends his friends. The extent he goes for people that he's close with, I think that he's just the best. He's just the best. I love the cunt. So, Luffy, there you go.
I like your list. I think a lot of your personality is intertwined with your list. I'm surprised you put Mugen on there, honestly.
I think just for the fights, like, see, I think a layer of it is just the fact that I enjoyed the anime. Like, I enjoyed the fact that the music was. This backs up Kez's point a little bit, which I don't like, but the music really made Samurai Champloo for me.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why I enjoyed his characters because in those fights they had Nujabes playing a lot more, which is probably why he's a bit more memorable. I was umming and ahhing between putting in Ryosuke from Beck, but when it came towards the two of those, I was like, if I was to sit and like watching when they're on screen, who am I more like drawn to? It's Mugen.
Because I think the only reason I say that is because the underlying theme with all these other characters is that they're just like they're very outgoing, ambitious, and they're all nice.
Yeah.
Like the bottom line of it is like they're all fucking super like stand-up dudes, apart from Mugen, who's just like an actual piece of shit. Like,
But thing is, I think that with that, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I do like these characters for that, but if I look back at the other animes that I've watched, I'm like, that like Kyosuke. There's Rio. What's his name? Rio. I literally just said it anyway. The guy from Beck. I think he's cool. But it's like, if I was to watch a character, who would I want? When I done this list initially, I had Chopper and I had Nishiyama from Haikyuu as my two others, and I had Inosuke. So these three weren't there. It was Inosuke, Chopper, and Nishiyama. So those three were gone, and that's probably a little bit more. Okay,
It's a better list because of that, mate. I'll tell you that much. I don't think your list is that bad. I'll be really honest. I really don't think it is, especially with, like, your reasoning behind who's there and why they're there as well. I don't think that's because I don't know if you're going to disagree, but I don't.
No, I thought it'd be worse.
I
At least I thought it'd be
worse.
worse.
Like, I think the picking from different animes helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively helped you here.
I think, Cam, you know, if Noah watched Naruto, he'd love Naruto, wouldn't he, as a character?
Yeah, you probably would.
Because Naruto is that kind of Luffy type goofball main character, like sticks up for his friends.
Yeah.
That kind of character.
That's what's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely when I watch an anime, I veer to those characters.
See, I always prefer like the edgy sidekick, like Sasuke or someone like that, or Megumi.
Yeah.
Would he have been yours in JJK then?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Toda?
Megumi would have been mine for JJK.
Over like Toda. That's crazy.
I feel like you didn't get to see that much of him.
But that's why I find him very because I want to know more about him as a character.
You know what's his name? Yuta.
Yes, Yuta's a good character.
He's up there with my favourite in JJK.
Another
and Choso.
I thought
Chozo was good.
I like
Chozo was good.
I thought the other two were a bit mopey. Like, I think Megumi's a bit mopey. He's like, he feels a bit sorry for himself. Sasuke's kind of the same thing, where it's like, why are you sulking? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Sasuke was a bit of an edgelord, too much.
Yeah,
and
like sulking all the time. A lot of mate getting himself like.
But another character. This goes against what I've just said. An honourable mention. I think, Noah, you would love this character. Is Rock Lee from Naruto. Rock Lee is the goat, the absolute goat. Honestly, I watched the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight in the tuning exam.
He takes off
That is one of the best fights in any anime ever. Like that moment when he just drops the weights, it's goated, and then he just suddenly like his speed increases by 100%, and then he gets the blow on Gaara.
Yeah.
But how they intertwine Rock Lee's flashbacks in that scene with him training, and then when he starts crying, and then like Guy gives that inspirational speech to him, goated. And like Rock Lee is like the embodiment of like hard work in anime.
For sure.
So early Rock Lee goated. They kind of ruined his character in Shippuden. Like they gave him nothing to do in Shippuden, which was a bit annoying. But original Naruto Rock Lee would be up there for me as a character, just in terms of how inspirational he is as a character.
Especially like when he starts getting drunk as well, and he actually employs an old,
against Kimimaro, was it?
Yeah. Like that was sick. Like that actually paid homage to martial arts as well, which is really good to see. That's his whole stick. So I think that might probably be my favorite Naruto character now that I think about it. Yeah, probably Rock Lee. Bro just worked hard. That's how he got there. He just worked hard.
Yeah.
You know, fucking sick. I think I don't know. Maybe if we were to compromise a list together, I feel like that would be a respectable take to build. But we don't have enough fucking time for that. You know?
No, not at all.
No. Fuck off, AniGains viewers. Right, on that note, gentlemen and the occasional lady, I do hope you enjoyed this week's instalment of the AniGains podcast. Links for everything are going to be in the bio. Gentlemen, anything else you wanted to say?
No.
Nope, nothing for me.
Good.
Sound. All right. Catch you next week, people. Bye-bye.
Peace.